Have you ever wondered, why can a man collapse and lose everything just because of a woman? Why can a once renowned CEO, a once formidable fighter, or a sharp-minded intellectual ultimately turn into a weak, submissive man begging for a cheap kind of love? You think you're smart, you think you're more clear-headed than the previous generation. Wrong. Most men out there, whether 25 or 45 years old, whether educated or seasoned by life, still suffer from the same disease, the illusion of love. Modern society has grown more sophisticated. Women too have become more sophisticated, but one thing remains unchanged. Nature never gave men a map to understand women. On the contrary, men are fed dangerous illusions. Just be good, and you will be loved. Be sincere, and she will appreciate you. Sacrifice for her, and she will never leave you. And then you look around. How many men have failed because of those very beliefs? How many marriages have fallen apart? How many men have been cheated on, lost their careers, their reputations destroyed, and stranger still, it's the bad men, the ruthless, the cold, the indifferent, who seem to captivate and enthrall women. Why? It's not because women are evil. It's not because society is rotten. It's because the very nature of this game has never been fair. Nearly 200 years ago, Arthur Schopenhauer, one of Europe's sharpest philosophical minds, saw through this truth. He was not sweet, nor did he sugarcoat. He laid bare the true nature of love and women, a truth most modern men still stubbornly deny. And if you refuse to wake up, if you blindly believe in rosy self-help advice, if you keep putting your heart above your head and kneeling before the so-called true love, you will remain prey, manipulated, drained, crushed by the biological machinery of the mating game. It's time to lift the veil of illusion. It's time to confront the brutal truth Schopenhauer once declared. Love is not a connection of souls. It is an instinctual deception, a cruel illusion of nature that serves one purpose: only the continuation of the species. Does it sound bleak, perhaps? But it is a bitter pill that any clear-headed man must swallow. Because only by understanding the true nature of the game can you stop being a victim. Only then can you rise to a higher level where you are no longer controlled by women, no longer in need of anyone's validation. Most men grow up with a naive belief love is a sacred connection. Sincerity will be rewarded. She is the one destined for me. These illusions implanted through novels, films, and society have destroyed countless strong men because they fail to realize love is not about the soul. It is a game of instinct. A biological drug programmed deep within your DNA, driving you to act with one singular purpose: the continuation of the species. Schopenhauer saw this with brutal clarity. When you feel what is called love at first sight, intense desire, or an obsession with a woman, it is not your soul connecting with her. It is your brain unconsciously calculating genes, fertility, and genetic advantage. Cold as it sounds, perhaps. But if you've ever witnessed cruel affairs, bitter divorces, you will see that Schopenhauer was right. Ask yourself, how many men have burned through careers, fortunes, and reputations for the sake of a single woman? How many once swore to love until death, only to be left with boredom or hatred after a few years of marriage? How many were promised forever only to be betrayed once their value diminished? Schopenhauer made it clear love is a chemical intoxication lasting just long enough for you to fall into nature's trap, to reproduce and pass on your genes. Then it fades. From this he warned, anyone who believes love is eternal will be punished, because when the illusion dissolves, you will be left with a harsh reality. Women do not choose you for your heart. They choose based on genetic instinct, seeking the highest value mate for the next generation. And as an inevitable result, if you grow weak, they will leave you. If you grow poor, they will leave you. If someone of higher value appears, they will replace you. There is no fairness here, no morality. This is biological design, shaped by millions of years of evolution. The question is, Will you continue to foolishly believe in fairy tales? Or will you face this truth and play a different game, one where you hold the power? Most men fail in love because they do not understand the laws of natural selection. They keep thinking, the more kind and devoted I am, the more she will choose me. Sincerity will eventually win. This is a dangerous illusion. Schopenhauer made it clear women do not choose men through logic, and certainly not through fairness. They choose based on instinct, an instinct deeply etched into their biological structure through millions of years. Who is the strongest? Who can provide the best protection? Who offers the best genetic advantage for her offspring? It does not matter how good you are. It does not matter how sincere you are. What women unconsciously scan for is survival value. And in today's world, that translates into money security, social status, physical attractiveness, fitness, leadership, influence, dominance, want proof. Very simple. Look at dating apps. The rawest display of instinct, 80% of women compete for the top 20% of men, and the bottom 80% of men invisible, starved. Why? Because subconsciously, women are not looking for good men. They are looking for strong men. Not just physically strong, but psychologically strong, socially dominant, and emotionally independent of women. Schopenhauer once wrote, "To be loved, one does not need to be fair, one must be wise." Wise here means understanding the true game. The more you behave like someone who needs love, the more you lose value. The more you give without holding your ground, the more you will be disrespected. This explains why the bad boy always attracts women. The alpha male does not chase but gets chased. The nice guy who cares too much ends up dumped without mercy. Do not blame women. Do not blame a corrupt society. This is biological programming, and it will not change. If you still believe that simply being good and persistent will earn you the reward of love you've already lost from the start. You must be the one in control. You must be the high-value man that women pursue, not the beggar seeking love. This is where most men, even educated men, still lose completely. They think I am rational, I am educated, I cannot be easily manipulated. Wrong. Because women do not manipulate you through logic. They manipulate you through emotion, through an instinctual survival mechanism refined over tens of thousands of years of evolution. Schopenhauer saw this very clearly. Women are physically weaker, but possess an absolute advantage in emotion. They live more in the present moment and can read the mental states of others with extraordinary accuracy. In other words, while a man thinks he is having a fair conversation, a woman through deep intuition is reading your eyes, your tone of voice, your hesitation when responding. The moment you lose patience, they do not need to out-argue you. They steer your emotions. They make you believe that every decision is yours, when in fact, you've been led from the start. Schopenhauer called this tyranny of the weak. By appearing weak, by appearing pitiful, women create an influence far more powerful than muscle or reasoning. Have you ever seen this happen? A man who is tough in the business arena but melts at home because of his wife's tears. An alpha male who commands the boardroom but becomes submissive when his girlfriend cries and sulks. That is emotional power. And any man who does not recognize it will always be manipulated. Women do not need to say, "I want this." They only need to make you feel that you want to do it for her. Schopenhauer analyzed this with sharp clarity. Women do not conquer. They manipulate reality. Specific examples in the game of love. Compliance test. Do you easily change your schedule for her? Frame test. Do you hold your ground when she gets upset? Investment test. Do you chase her more than necessary? If you fail these tests, you've been programmed to become subordinate. And once you are subordinate, there is only one outcome: you will be discarded. There is a tragedy that repeats across generations of men. Nice guys, the kind, sincere men who give their all to women, always fail. Not only do they fail, they are often despised. Look around. How many men have loved with all their heart only to be betrayed? How many men have lived for her only to be discarded like an old toy? How many men have tried to be good, hoping to be loved, only to be met with contempt? The answer is clear: nice guys fail because they do not understand the game. They carry a deeply feminine illusion in their minds. Love is a reward for being nice. Schopenhauer saw through this hundreds of years ago. A man who believes he can earn love through submission has already lost before the game even begins. Women do not love you because you serve them. They love you because you are of high value. And in the natural world, the one who needs love the most holds the least value. Have you ever noticed? The more you chase a girl, the more she loses interest. The more you try to prove you're worthy, the more she sees you as inferior. When you place her on a pedestal as your queen to her, you've already become a servant. What is called being nice holds no value when it comes with a lack of self-control. A nice guy who does everything just to be loved is in essence begging for validation. And that is what kills attraction. On the other hand, the man who does not seek that validation is always the one women pursue. Not because he is bad, but because he possesses what women instinctively crave most: value and self-mastery. That is why the reckless bad boy always has women around him. The alpha male who does not chase is the one being chased. The man who is busy building his own world captivates women effortlessly. Why? Because instinctively, women do not want to be the goal of a man. They want to pursue someone of such high value that they admire him. The nice guy places women on a pedestal. The alpha creates a world that draws women in. As long as you are still thinking, "I'm doing this for her, sacrificing for her, proving myself to her," then you are still a nice guy and you will continue to fail. By now, you can likely see it clearly. The game of love is not fair, and if you blindly continue playing by the old rules, you will always be a pawn. But Schopenhauer did not merely expose the truth. He pointed out a way out for the man bold enough to face it. He said the victorious man is not one who hates women. He is the one who sees through the nature of the game and plays by the laws of nature, not by illusions. The first thing to understand: you cannot force women to change their instincts. You can only change yourself so that you are no longer manipulated. 1. Do not fight women. Understand the game of nature. Many men, once awakened, fall into a state of hating women. This is a mistake. Resenting nature's design does not make you stronger. It only makes you bitter, toxic, and out of control. Schopenhauer, along with Nietzsche and Machiavelli, made it clear: the strong do not resent nature. The strong accept it and rise above it. You must see women as part of the natural order. No resentment, no idolization, no seeing them as the ultimate goal. Only then can you begin to play a different game, the game of mastering yourself. 2. Build inner strength. Wealth, mind, body. Schopenhauer was very clear. The greatest happiness is the happiness that comes from oneself, not from others. To escape the cycle of manipulation, a man must have financial strength. Financial freedom is the foundation. Without it, you will always be controlled by women's society and the workplace. Sharp thinking. Read, study, sharpen your mind so you are not brainwashed by Hollywood illusions or sweet promises. Only the clear-minded can truly see the real cost of every game. Physical strength. Not for the sake of appearances, but to build willpower so your body becomes a tool that serves greater ambitions. 3. Learn from Nietzsche, Machiavelli. Become a man of sovereign will, Nietzsche said. To be strong, one must first be self-governing. Machiavelli made it clear: the one who holds power is the one who does not need the crowd's approval. A man who wishes to escape the manipulated game of love does not beg, "Love me because I am nice." Instead, he builds a world so powerful that women will seek ways to enter it. And if they do not, no problem. He remains sovereign, needing validation from no one. That is the highest level, the free man, the man who is not dependent. Schopenhauer once wrote a brutally sharp line. 3/4 of people lose themselves simply to resemble others, and that is the very trap modern men are falling into. They live by a pre-written script, trying hard to be the nice guy, chasing sweet love, sacrificing for the right woman, believing they will be justly rewarded. The result, men's value is drained. They lose sovereignty in relationships. They are exploited by society as money-making, service-providing machines. And when it all collapses, they lose their wives, their careers, and ultimately, themselves. You have two choices. Either continue being a blind pawn, hoping that someone will love you unconditionally, or wake up and step into the world of the free man, the man who owns himself. This is not a lesson in hating women, nor is it about becoming a toxic man. On the contrary, the awakened man understands that this entire game is biological. There is nothing personal, nothing unfair. It is simply nature's order, and the man who wants success and happiness must learn to live above the game. Conquer yourself, not women. The man who conquers himself is the one who cannot be manipulated. He does not need validation from women. He does not chase after society's praise. He masters only his finances, his mindset, his body and will. At that point, your energy will transform. You will no longer need to pursue anyone. Value attracts value naturally. That is the state of peak masculine energy, the very state Schopenhauer, Nietzsche, and Machiavelli all alluded to. The final lesson. If you still believe happiness comes from a woman's approval, you have not yet begun to truly live. If you awaken, let go of illusions, you will see. When you no longer beg for love, you become the most attractive. When you no longer resent women, you become strong enough to master the game. When you focus on building inner strength, the world will recognize you. One last question. What will you choose, to be the nice guy living in sweet illusions only to be crushed? Or the awakened man, a truly free man, sovereign in his own life? The choice is yours.